you have to feed your mind good stuff, okay? Because what we try and do is we trying to program our mind to get positive messages. We want reinforcement of the things that we want. So with that being said, man, that preparing yourself mentally is just as important as getting the information. I mean, the real estate stuff is simple. You know, it's simple, but it's not easy. But preparing yourself mentally, putting yourself around the right people, reading the right books, you know, that's imperative, you know.
What's going on, everybody? It's Jamel Gibbs. Welcome to another podcast episode. Today we have another special guest, really good friend of mine. We actually met a few years ago. He actually invited me to a Charlotte Hornets game. He lives about an hour away from me. He's in Charlotte, North Carolina. I want to welcome Nasar to the call. What's up, man?
Hey, bro. First thing first, Jamel, thank you for having me, man. And, it's good. You know, I'm glad I have a personal relationship with you, so I got access to you, man, which is a blessing, man. But thank you for having me, man. I was thinking about you and your wife the other night, but I know I just added an addition to the family because I was going to get you guys, you know, some close seats to the Knicks game. I think it was Monday, but I was like, man, first of all, ain't no need to buy a babysitter to go to a Knicks game these days. You know? So yeah, but yeah, man, thank you for having me.
Yeah, man, we 4 kids in now, so, you know, it's kind of rough to get a babysitter. I pay my babysitter $10 an hour, and sometimes she's just not available, man. So I appreciate you thinking about us, though. I'll let my wife know that.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, man. So today we're going to talk about wholesaling and mindset as well. And I know you absolutely crushing it in Charlotte, and you have been. You spoke at an event of mine a couple of years ago and was flashing some checks up on the screen. I'm not going to talk about how much they were, but I know that you're killing it in Charlotte. And let's talk about wholesaling. First of all, how did you get started investing in real estate?
Okay, so when I was 19 years old, I overheard my father talking to his friend about the guy next door bought the house for $150,000, put 20 into it, and sold it for $270. So here it is, you know what I mean? I'm 19, so he just made $100,000. So my mind was set on real estate. So I'm like, bro, I gotta do real estate. So me being 19 years old, you know, I go to some people who didn't do real estate to ask them, how do you do real estate? Which was my father. He said, yo, talk to my friend. He fixes credit and then you can buy real estate. And I bought my first house at 24, right? In Jersey, East Orange, New Jersey. And we end up losing about $7,000 a piece, me and my partner. And that was the beginning of my real estate introduction.
So you came in losing money.
Came in losing, not the third, not the fifth deal, the first deal. First deal, I lost.
But you know what? Most people give up at that point. Why did you stay in the game?
Man, I was 24, man. I was too stupid to quit. You know what I mean? I knew it worked, but I just figured something was wrong with me. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. After that, I finished my undergrad at King University, and from finishing my undergrad at King in Jersey, what happened? As soon as I sold the house, that was holding me back. I moved down to Charlotte, picked up a rental in 08, 09. Now I'm doing this the traditional way. Mm-hmm. All right. So from those 2 years, bro, man, I'm gonna just tell you like this, bro. In 2 years, 2010, I learned about creative real estate. And then that was ball game. After I learned about wholesaling and creative real estate, it was over. Like, because I thought I had to sit on the sideline because I tried to get a third house and the loan officer was like, your debt to income is too high because I was in the call center making like $12 an hour. So I wasn't making no money.
Right. So you had 2 houses at that time. And what type of creative real estate are you referencing wholesaling or are you referencing another type of creative investing?
I'm referencing wholesaling.
Cool.
They was like, no. I was like, they said no money, no credit. I said, yeah, I ain't got either right now, so let's do it. So yeah. Let's do
it. And then that kind of paved the way for you moving forward. So let's fast forward a little bit. Now you're wholesaling real estate. What does your business look like just getting started?
Okay, so just getting started was just, me pounding the pavement, driving for dollars every week. Pound the pavement, driving for dollars every week. Just out there, just making it happen.
Making it happen. And how did you get your education on wholesaling?
Local REIA.
Local REIA. Perfect, man. So,
And
couple years.
Flip the Freedom. Shout out to Sean Terry.
Shout out to Sean Terry. Now, I know Sean Terry's been around since what, 2010, 11-ish, something like that.
He had like the only wholesaling podcast at that time, but this we talking this was 2010. Yeah.
2010, around that time. I remember when he had a podcast with Nathan Jurowicz. It was something completely on the outside of wholesaling real estate, but then shortly after that he started that wholesaling podcast. So shout out to Sean Terry. Now fast forward 2013-ish, 2014, what was your business looking like around that time? So you started, because I know you started the business around, give me the year you started the business.
I did my first deal in 11. I got fired from my job September 2012, and I've been full-time ever since.
All right, so you've been full-time ever since. And let's go a couple of years in now. What are you doing to find deals at that point?
Direct mail. I was just doing all direct mail.
So you were doing all direct mail at that point. And how many postcards were you sending out to get deals?
Back then, I want to say 12, 13, 14. I was probably sending out about like 2,000-3,000 postcards. Give me like 2-3 deals a month at that time.
And obviously the market is different now. Sending out postcards is a bit different at this point. Now I know I met you back in 2015 or so, and I heard about your name first through Kay from
that's correct.
Kay Thompson, I think her last name was.
You talking about Kay Thompson? Shout out to Kay
Thompson. Shout out to Kay. Now she was doing some virtual assistance for me at that time, and I was paying her to do acquisitions for me. I think she was working for you as well. Was that the case?
Yeah, a partner. Somebody. We had a wholesale set up. We just split deals working for him, and that's how I met her.
Got you. Okay, so we ended up touching base. You invited me to the Charlotte Hornets game, and then after that, we kind of hit it off. So at that time, when I was talking with you, you mentioned to me that you started increasing how much money you was spending on a monthly basis in wholesaling to find deals on your postcard. So you told me you went from like 1,000 a month or 1,500 a month, and you started increasing in order to get more deals. Was that?
Yeah, I was doing about 10, 15 grand back when we met. Yeah.
10 or 15 grand.
A month.
Now I know shortly after that you had your first 6-figure month.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
So what does your business look like today?
Today we do ringless voicemail and SMS.
So that's all you're doing today?
Yeah. And a small amount of cold calling. Yeah.
Small amount of cold calling. Perfect, man. So now with that being said, how much money do you think it's taking you to get a deal versus postcards in today's market?
It's a lot cheaper. I don't have the exact number for you, but it's 10, 20 times cheaper.
So I know with a postcard, you might average $2,000 to $2,500 per deal. With SMS, it might be somewhere around $300 to $500. Is that about right?
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Cool. So how many deals a month are you doing right now?
We're doing about 3 to 5 inside of Charlotte, but the overhead is a lot lower.
Got it. You know, it was funny, man, because I was thinking about, over the last year, I was really contemplating on really scaling my real estate business. And, I was on a couple of podcasts and I mentioned a certain number. Personally, after really digging into it, I don't want to necessarily scale my real estate business. I want to actually do the opposite. I want to make it a bit smaller and keep more of the profit, because we're in real estate to make money, right? We want to keep the profit. To me, it doesn't make sense to scale if majority of that money is going towards a team anyway. So I might as well have 2 or 3 people on my team instead of 10 and keep most of the money. How do you feel about that?
No, I strongly agree, man. Right now I only got like a 3-person team, man. So my thing is this, man. Like I'm running lean right now, so I'm just trying to enjoy it. Like some
Yeah,
people want, you know what I mean, the big businesses, but they don't realize until you do it that those come with big overhead.
that's right,
And,
man.
yeah. So, but yeah, man. I mean, it's nothing. You can cater the business to fit you, right? You can cater that business to fit you. That's what I like about real estate, man. You
Yep,
can cater the business to fit whatever you want. You know what I mean? You can cater it to fit your lifestyle.
that's right. I was talking, you know, Zach Childress.
Yeah, I know Zach.
So I was talking to Zach, and he was telling me, man, and it made a lot of sense. He said the only reason to go big in business is for ego, or if you want to sell it one day. And I never thought about it like that. So, you know, shout out to Zach Childress for that information. But yeah, I really, you know, the reason why I wanted to go bigger was for ego purposes. Because I mean, I made plenty of money in real estate. Everybody knows it, you know, over the years. So like for me, I definitely didn't. I thought about it. I don't want to go bigger. I just want to be content with what I have and just milk most of the profits. So today, in your real estate business, I know over the past couple of years you've been building. Would you consider those to be spec homes?
Yes, but those are spec homes. Yeah.
So you're building. Are you still doing that today, or?
I don't have any active bills going on right now. No.
Okay, so you were building spec homes, but primarily you're doing wholesaling today, right?
Yeah, primarily I'm doing wholesale today. Right? I'm going to an all wholesale model. You know, we're getting election years this year, so just want to play it safe. And um, the reason I was, you know, I'm at the amount of deals I mean I'm now, like previous years, I was doing a lot of rehabbing and new construction. So with those, you know, selling those $500,000 houses, I just felt that like, all right, this market is starting to soften up, that $500,000 market here.
Right,
Um, which is, it's not, that's not the first time home buyer price point. So you're at the mercy of a particular segment of the market, and the stuff was starting to sit a little longer. So, you know, I got out of all that stuff and like, you know, I'm gonna do all my wholesale, just, you know, build that back up to where it need to be. You know, right now we're at like 5 deals, and that's just locally. That's not,
right.
you know, going, you know, these guys doing virtual or anything. So yeah.
And that's perfect that you said that because, you know, we both lived through a market shift back over 10 years ago. I know when I started, you know, around 2002, we rode the market right on up. And then around 2007, we started seeing that market shift. Right now, in today's market, it looks like 2007 all over again. The only difference is we don't have a lot of illegal mortgages out there.
That's
Plus,
correct.
a lot of new builds are still happening right now. So we still have contracts out, not contracts. We have permits out for new builds for the next 2 to 3 years if you look at the record. So
Yeah.
new builds are still going up. So as long as those are still active, I think the market is going to be pretty healthy. Plus, we don't have a lot of the illegal mortgage activity. So because of that, we are able to really bet on the market being a decent market over the next couple of years. So like you, man, I'm trying to milk it as much as I possibly can. So you're going into a wholesale model at this point, strictly wholesale. So let's talk about what you're doing, and let's act like you're beginning, you're starting your business all over. Just for the newbie real estate investor listening to this podcast right now, what would you recommend, or what are you doing right now in order to start your real estate business, your wholesaling business all over again?
Well, basically just putting all 100%, 110% focus into this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if somebody brings me a deal that's just too good to be true, I might have to tackle it down. So, but man, I'm basically, you know, just right now we're just 110% focused in wholesale.
Got
It's
it.
not,
100.
well, you know, I'm going to rehab this. I might take something down and resell it, but I'm
Right.
trying to stay away from, you know, rehabbing and new construction.
Right, because then you'll be tapped out if the market the market change. Now that happened to me, man, when, we're talking 2008, that market tank. I don't know if you remember, I had a course called not the Property Umbrella Blueprint, the Real Estate Repo Riches back in 2009. The reason why I created that was because, back then when the market shifted, I was doing a lot of rehab. So I started off in this business as a rehabber, and I had all of that money out and I couldn't sell any of the houses.
Yeah.
So I basically lost everything and I had to start the business all over again. And back then what was hot was bulk REO and getting properties from the bank. So I tapped into REO investing. I started wholesaling those. And then from there, I created that program, which, it did pretty well for a lot of people in the market. But so right now we're at the brink of, it's an election year. We don't know what's really going to happen with the market. Wholesaling is the way to go in any market, in my opinion, because
Absolutely.
Because you don't have any skin in the game really, except marketing, so you're not putting yourself in debt just to buy real estate. So let's give them a 3-step process. How would the average person looking to get started in wholesaling, what's the first thing they should do?
Average person looking to get started is just educate themselves.
Education first.
Yeah, education first. Information is out there. Whether they go to your course, buy your ebooks, check me out on YouTube, check whoever on YouTube. Information is out there, and just educate yourself and take action.
So, what's your YouTube page, by the way?
Real Estate Doru. YouTube Real Estate Doru. For those never heard of me, I'm the Doru because I'm not a guru. I'm a Doru because I actually do this business.
That's right.
Yeah, Doru is DORU. So you can find me on IG, IG.com/Doru, top Real Estate Doru, and I got a blog, realestatedoru.com. Hopefully, by the time this drops, that blog will be active and nice again.
Perfect. Now, Nasar is my man, so what I'm gonna make sure on my YouTube page. I started revamping my YouTube page a couple of months ago. I'm gonna make sure that Nasar is gonna show up on a side column. When you go to my YouTube page, you should be able to see, other groups or other pages, other channels. Nasar is gonna be one of those channels as well, so I'm definitely gonna link them in, because that's my people right there. But oh man, that's a pleasure. But so you recommend education first, and once you educate yourself, obviously action follows. What's the next step though?
Okay, next step, once you educate yourself, get out there and hit the pavement, which is jobbing for dollars, man. That's how I started off, but I started off with limited money and no credit. So I had to outwork people. Do not be scared and go outside and say, well, they have all these wholesalers. Well, they got room for you too. Right. You just got to outwork everybody else.
It's funny, man, because I used to tell people, when I was doing this, even a couple of years ago when you came to my live event, I used to tell people, think about how many people live in a city and think about how many houses are in a city and how many of those houses would actually need work. Now think about how many investors there are in the city. Can all of those investors buy up every single house? No. Right. So let's just say there's a million people. How many people are in Charlotte?
1 million.
So you figure 1 million people in Charlotte. How many houses do you think are in Charlotte? Houses.
Ooh. Probably 400,000 to 500,000 maybe?
Say 500,000. Now how many of those houses do you think need some work?
Let's say 10%, right? I'm gonna take a small number. That would be 50,000 houses.
50,000 houses. Now watch this. How many real estate investors? Now you probably have a roundabout figure. How many real estate investors do you think are actually in Charlotte?
Probably about 75 to 100 that are actually active investors, maybe full time.
So 100 real estate investors full time, right? Can 100 real estate investors? What's the possibilities of them buying up 50,000 houses that need work?
Slim to none. The reason why I say that, when you're talking about investors, I mean, 90 out of the 100, 98.9% are are mom and pop guys with limited funds.
That's right. So that's my point. You know, you got 100 people, and if I take out my calculator real quick, if I divide, let's say 50,000, I'm just doing some numbers here. If I divide 50,000 houses on average, we just using some round numbers here. That's 500 homes each investor. The average real estate investor, you know, the average, unless you're a rock star, you're not necessarily buying 500 homes to hold on to. You're going to buy a fraction of that. The average real estate investor. Now, if you're a superstar or you've been around the game for a little while, then, you know, you can buy 500 houses a year. But the point is, for 100 investors to be able to buy 50,000 properties, you have 500 deals a year per investor. And most people are not doing those types of numbers. So because of that, there's plenty of money out there for everybody. And that's where I was going with it. Would you agree with that?
No, it's more than enough. Yeah, absolutely.
More than enough. So you want to educate yourself first. Then you want to get out there, start driving for dollars. What does driving for dollars look like?
Man, getting in your car looking for beat up houses, ugly houses, houses with tall grass, houses boarded up, houses whereas the mailbox is stacked, and you like, wait, why is nobody getting the mail? You want to write down that address because more than likely nobody's living there.
Right. Back in the days, we used to look for newspaper, but they don't really deliver newspaper anymore. So
that's over.
I mean, some of them do. Some of them do.
Very few. Yeah.
Very few. But if you see like coupons and stuff out there sitting in the front, or boxes that's, you know, with stuff in it, you know, look for evidence that the property is not being taken care of physically or financially. That's basically how you want to approach that. So you find a lead. What's the next thing you do?
Once you find a lead, you want to, like, I use the Deal Machine app, right? So you don't have to use the Deal Machine app. And just to plug myself, you want to use the Deal Machine app, dealmachine.com/real estate Doru. You get my link and you get some free stuff with that. You want to sign up that. But however, the Deal Machine app, like, they have that now. If you don't have money for Deal Machine app, you don't need it. It's not a product you need. It's just make things easier. Back when I got started, it was pen and paper. So I wrote down the address, and I used to stay out there to like 2-3 pages deep of addresses. So it'd be like 100. I have 100 plus addresses. Now, at that time, we talking about one of the biggest recessions since the Great Depression. So like every 2-3 houses, it was a vacant house, literally. You know what I'm saying? So due to it was a housing collapse. So
it was easy.
It was easy to get a whole bunch of addresses, and then from there, I would just skip trace them.
Yeah. What type of neighborhoods are you driving around?
I like to go in. How do I say this? Areas where there's more renters than owners.
Got it.
Because what you'll notice is landlords get burnt out real quick.
Yep.
Real quick, landlords get burnt out. So
you get the addresses, you skip trace them, find out who the owner is. See, when we started, and you fall in that category too, there was no such thing as skip tracing back then. We had to do everything manually, but now they have skip tracing companies.
You did it manually, right? Like skip tracing, that was like you had to be like a Bell's bombing to have access to that back then. You know what I'm saying? So now they got a lot of public companies that's doing it for people. So that's correct. So I would mail them. I go on the real estate lookup, whatever your city is. When I say real estate lookup, the tax card of your city where it shows the address and mailing address.
Right.
And as long as the mailing address was different, then I'll mail them a letter.
Now you contact the seller reaches back out to you, you negotiate the deal with the seller. Now what?
I negotiate the deal with the seller, and from negotiate the deal with the seller, what we would do from there, like I signed a contract and we can agree on the price. It took me 8 months to get my first deal. Let me say that. Took me 8 months to get my first deal in 2011. So my first wholesale deal. So don't think it's going to happen overnight. Yeah, it could happen 2-3 weeks in less than 30 days. It can happen. But those results are not typical. You probably have to put in a lot of work to get to that first deal.
Right. And that, that plays a major part in mindset too. A lot of people, I just had this conversation with another investor. A lot of people think they're going to come in and a lot of it has to do with, real estate gurus out there telling people they can make money in the next 30 days. Right. So people come in with the mentality thinking that they're going to make the money in the next 30 days when 99% of the people don't. And Correct. A lot of it has to do with they don't have enough money for marketing. Most people just don't have the know-how on how to structure the deal. There's a lot of factors that play into you being able to make money in the next 30 days, right? So most people give up way too early. They'll send out one mailer, maybe 2 mailers, and then you never hear from them again. When they cut, basically they're cutting themselves too short. They don't stick in there long enough. When I was down on Wall Street, they used to say, the difference between me and you is time. So you got to give yourself time to be able to really make an impact, to really build up that the amount of phone calls that you need in order to make a deal. So the main thing is just sit there and wait and just keep being consistent every single month. The time, because once you close that first deal, just as good as I do that the rest of it is history.
That is correct. Yeah, once you close that first deal, that's all you need, man. And you be ready to go after that first deal.
That's right. So the average person, would you agree with me that the average person quit way too early?
Absolutely. That's with anything, man. I see that with, it's not just real estate, it's entrepreneurship, but it's also generally just life. People just quit before, man, if they see like a brick wall or an illusion of a brick wall, they giving up.
Yeah, most definitely. So let's talk about mindset a little bit. So we talked about some wholesaling. What does it take to actually make this business happen?
Okay. Now, as far as the mindset, man, you just have to be prepared for the journey. Don't worry about the big checks. Get prepared for the journey and not and don't give up. And when I say get prepared for the journey, man, you have to feed your mind good stuff. Okay, you have to, social media is big. So I'm gonna say 97% of your audience is on social media, right? So what we need to start doing, let's start doing this virtually, which is removing all the stuff that's no good for you on social media and follow the Jamel Gibbs, follow the people you admire, follow the motivational speakers. Because what we try and do is we try to program our mind to get positive messages. We want reinforcement of the things that we want. Because when you look at Jamel Gibbs, what happens is, I might say, yo, I want this, I want that. But when we see that when Gibbs actually got it, we like, oh, see, I can get it because he's doing it, etc. So with that being said, man, that preparing yourself mentally is just as important as getting the information. The real estate stuff is simple. It's simple, but it's not easy. But preparing yourself mentally, putting yourself around the right people, reading the right books, that's imperative, because when I was first got started, man, at 26, man, I went head first in the self-development, man. I read my first book, like Rich Dad Poor Dad, man.
Right.
And I went head first in the self-development. I got heavy into that, but that fixed my life and it prepared me to be where I'm at today.
I was just pulling up my Audible right here. I'm reading a book right now. It's called The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz.
Yeah.
Excellent book. It'll help you with mindset. And another book that I just picked up was The Power of Positive Thinking. So The Power of Positive Thinking and The Magic of Thinking Big. Those are the types of books that you want to be reading. I read Rich Dad Poor Dad just like you. That was the first book that I ever read from cover to cover. because I hated reading back in the late 90s. I read that book when I was in high school, 1998. And, come 2000, I was on Wall Street. 2001, after 9/11, I jumped into real estate. Just kind of remembering what Robert Kiyosaki was talking about in that book. But the way you think and your mindset plays a major role in how successful you're going to be.
Absolutely.
If you think small, then what's going to eventually happen, Nasar? If you think small, what's going to happen with the average person?
You're going to get less than what you was thinking.
That's right.
You're going to get smaller. Real talk.
So what's some practices that our listeners can do in order to think positively?
I mean, first thing first, go to your social media, man. Like, some guys, we like to follow the video vixens and the eye candy. Get that stuff out, man. Stop. Because what you looking at, you take in your mind and then you want to act on that. We don't need that right now. You know what I'm saying, right? You want to put in the positive stuff. People that's always just going through stuff. When you align yourself with people that their life is always raining, you can't be surprised. Whereas it starts storming in your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. You don't need that kind of energy. You don't want that kind of those sob stories. You gotta just cut that stuff off. Right. Some people are detrimental. Somebody just, they in the middle. It's cool. Y'all can be social media friends, but people who just constantly just got bad news and negative stuff, you want to get that out of there. So let's do that with social media. Then you're gonna do that with your life. Right. You want to turn on the TV and turn on your life. That's extremely important. So
I know that one thing that you do, you don't necessarily spend any time on, let's say, Facebook during the week. You wait until the weekend. And then I see you post a whole lot of stuff on a weekend, and then we won't hear from you for another week.
That's correct. I keep a blocker on my laptop and on my phone, man, on social media, man, because anybody who follow me on social media, I get caught up, man. Yeah. So, yeah, I get caught up out there, man. I just be having fun.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that, man. So mindset is everything, and you feel like wholesaling is the best way to get started for our listeners.
Absolutely. I think it is, because once you know how to find good deals, you can survive in any market. It don't matter what the market does.
Got it.
You good. Yeah.
That's right, man. So we really appreciate having you today, man. If our listeners wanted to get some information on you or follow your YouTube page or something like that, I know you mentioned the YouTube page earlier, youtube.com/real estate Doru, DORU, real estate Doru, on YouTube. How else can they get in contact with you?
Real estate Doru, Instagram.com/real estate Doru, realestatedoru.com.
realestatedoru.com. And I know you got an ebook that you wrote. What is it? Flipping houses like burgers?
Flipping houses like burgers on Amazon. Flip houses like burgers on Amazon based off of wholesaling.
Definitely check that book out. I'll link, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to link it in the description box as well, so you can go ahead and check that out. But if you had to give some final words to our listeners, what would those final words be?
Focus, man. Follow one course until successful. Some people want hair, man. They want to start a hair business, do a landscaping company, and they want to sell insurance from door to door on the side. Nah, let's just focus on real estate. Your time is limited. We all have 24 hours in a day, so we got to focus. I'm not saying going out and quit your job. Keep your day job, right. Focus on real estate outside of that. But you got to focus on one thing.
That's right.
Trying to catch two rabbits, you'll catch none.
You had something on Instagram a couple of days ago. Let me just see if I can pull it up real quick. You had something on Instagram. You said that one of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking we have time. I love that, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks, man. Yeah, bro. But we definitely make that mistake, man. That Kobe situation was a tragedy. You know what I'm saying? So it just makes you think, and it humbles you, because death will come for anybody. I mean, from the moment we are born, every minute, we get closer to death. And some people, what I've seen when I first got started oh yeah, I'm gonna start next week. But when my mentor told me, like, what's the reason to start, and when you always have next week? So those people never got started. And fast forward, now they want to come out. Oh, it's everybody's doing it. It's hot. Well, you can still get a deal, but they use that excuse to quit.
Right.
So
exactly.
yeah, man, just get out and start, man. Start today, start tomorrow. Like, just get started.
Yeah, Kent Clothier, right?
Yeah, I know you're talking about. I'm familiar with him.
So I was talking with him a little while back, and he, we was talking over the phone. He mentioned something to me that it was similar to what you said, where people they make the mistake of thinking that we have time, right? So basically he said, if you take a jar and you put a bunch of marbles in it, let's just say you had, the average person lives, 78, the average man lives 78 years. The average woman lives 80 years, let's just say, right? Now, if you take 78 and how many days are in 365? How many days are in 365? That didn't even make any sense. But 365 times 78 years for the average man. So that means 28,470 marbles, right? So I would take 28,470 marbles and put it in a jar. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out how many years, how old I am now. So how many, I'm 30, I'll be 39 in a few weeks. So let's just do 39 years, right? So we got 365 times 39 years. I'm going to take out 14,235 marbles minus the, 28,470. That means I only have 14,235 days left on this earth. And then every day that goes by, I'm taking out a marble. So you literally watching the marble jar go away, right? Now, when you put that into perspective, it kind of does something to your mind. It shifts your mind, a really hustle mentality. You really start thinking along the lines of, I need to get this done right now, because if, I only have this much time left. So that was a powerful thing I wanted to share. It was right in conjunction with what you was talking about. And I really love that post from the other day, because it's a rude awakening for a lot of people,
Yeah, no doubt, bro.
So definitely we appreciate having you today, and we definitely want to have you back again sometime in the near future. And for those of you who want to know more about Nasar, definitely check out his YouTube page. He's been pretty consistent with putting up YouTube videos at youtube.com/real estate Doru. Check out his Instagram page if you want motivational stuff like that. And check out his Facebook as well. I'm a friend of his on Facebook, but do you have a Facebook page? Are you active on it?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, just my personal page. But also, if you want to get access to me on Facebook, you can join my Facebook group, Wholesaling with the Doru. Wholesaling with the Doru on Facebook.
Wholesaling with the Doru on Facebook. Definitely check that group out as well. Been a real pleasure, man.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
Let's do this again sometime.
Absolutely, bro.
All right. And realestatedoru.com as well. Check Nasar out. And I'll talk to you guys on the next one.
All right. No doubt, bro.
Thanks.